think we're on. Let me check this. Here I come from the other side. Ta-da! Welcome back to my life with plants. I'm Newman. It's cooled off a little bit. I just thought it was a good time to actually show you some of my favorite cacti. So if that sounds like something you want to watch, then stay tuned. Well, I'm going to go through the extra effort, and before I do that, I better tuck in this shirt, okay, because it'll get caught up on some cacti, and then we're going to have a tragedy on our hands. Just put that net up a little bit more. Okay. This is a challenge in its own. If I was to put on a little bit more weight, I wouldn't be able to get in there. Okay, first up, Gymnocalycium saglionis, native to Tucumán, Catamarca, in northern Argentina. And I tell you what, this has got to be one of the hardiest cacti I've ever had. I've had two that have had serious rot issues, and they've actually totally recovered from it and come back. One with totally no roots at all for a whole year and including a whole winter. So this camera might be bouncing around a little bit. Sorry about that because of the wind. Got some wind, choppy wind. But this is in full bud now, and I bought this as a large plant. It's almost doubled in size now. When I did put it in here, it was about half the size of it is now. And it's budding up nicely. I just got to remember to back off the watering in our monsoon season. This is Gymnocalycium saglionis, and it's one of my favorite cacti. Put this down here and remember that it's there, so I better not step on it because I've actually stepped on a saglionis before, believe it or not. Unless you have trodden on one, then I must be one of the first to have that accident. Went right through the sandal. It's lucky it didn't pierce my foot. Okay, gotta remember it's there. I could use my brain and put it up the front here. This is also one of my favorite cacti. Very common, you can find it anywhere. Parodia Laninghalsii, but I love this plant very, very much, and it's hardy in my climate. So here we have a dry, very cold winter. It can go down -8 degrees Celsius. I bought this as a very large plant with all of these offsets growing on it. See all these babies, these pups. All these pups have more than doubled their size. And it's been repotted into there, and it's almost outgrown it. And it is native to southern Brazil, and it grows on steep cliff faces and dry jungles that are very humid, but they have a typical drier season during the winter, and they can have plenty of rain during the summer. They kind of grow out of the cliff face, and they can either stand up like they are here growing like this, or they grow up right up against the cliff face, so that one half of the plant is exposed to light while the other half is pushed hard up against the cliffs, or they can dangle off like big sausages or snakes. And this is one of my favorite cacti, and it's called Parodia Laninghalsii. Put this down. This time I'm going to put it right up the front here because I don't trust myself. I'll get caught up in the moment of showing everybody cacti plants, and I'm going to put my big foot on it. Right up next. Okay. Why wouldn't this be one of my favorites? I've had this for absolutely years now. It's got to be more than 10 years. And the interesting thing, oh, it spooks me, makes me think it's going to topple out. It's got 2 offsets now, and it is Cactus McDowellii. And when it does flower, it flowers right out of it. In actual fact, I think I can see buds, but I don't have my glasses on. Yep, yeah. Definitely 2 buds. Okay, so this one is getting much bigger, so it wants to put out two flowers, one more than it ever has. It's been in this pot for years and years and years, and it is doing really well. Surprisingly, the humid, very tropical summers don't bother it one bit. It seems to like that. And it is one of my favorite cacti. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, look at that specimen. Cactus McDowellii. I think we're going to put this one back because this one has a mind of its own. When it feels like it likes to change direction. So it'll be growing one way and then suddenly it'll bend the other. And that is why it's pinned between plants, because it can push itself so far one way it might topple, so it's at the back of the shelf. This next one is done exceptionally well, and so it is hardy in my region as long as I keep it out of too much rain. And this is Espostoa lanata. As far as I know, it's native to Peru, and this one is almost doubled in size, and I put it in a plastic pot. I regret it, but this is what I had at the time, and it's been growing in here really well. I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. It gets a lot of direct sun, but I have up a nylon shade netting. What's interesting about this is that it has this covering of wool and these nylon spines that come through, plus shorter radial spines. I don't have a lot of more information about it, but I know that this is doing really well in my climate, and this is Espostoa lanata. Alright, let's put this one back. You may notice that I'm just pulling out plants and saying that these are some of my favorites, because I have so much trouble choosing what are my favorites. It's very difficult. So naturally I'm going to pull out everything that's pretty old, I've had for a long time, because I've gotten used to growing these plants. Oh, this one's quite heavy. I've actually over potted this, but it seems to be doing well. I've had this for many years too. It requires quite a lot more water than I expected, and now I water it quite freely. When the spring weather warms right up and gets beyond 20 degrees, and even before that, it appreciates some water, even during the winter time, because we're very dry here in our winter. When it gets to the tropical summer, it does really well. And this is Parodia horstii variety purpureus, because there's these lovely purple flowers here. And the typical horstii is orange, and it has a couple of babies coming out, because this will eventually start clumping. This main plant can get up to 30 centimeters tall. I know that for sure. I've seen photos. And In other cases, as it grows taller, it can twist and look like a big snake sitting in the grass. This grows in southern Brazil too, likes our climate here, likes the tropical, hot, humid summers. It's been growing very, very well, and it demands when I water it about 3 times. I'll pour a lot of water through it and it comes out the bottom, and I repeat it another couple of times till it's totally saturated. And actually has another baby coming out of the back there. I don't know if you can see. I've taken babies off this, and I'm going to show you one now. And of course, it's one of my favorite cacti. When I do this, I feel nervous. I feel nervous because I don't want to break anything. And I could turn off the camera while I'm doing this, but to tell you the truth, if I do that, I will have trouble with my mic. So you can bear with me. Okay, down here. I'm going to show you one that I've taken as an offset. It's been growing as an offset for the past 2 years. And it even has a flower bud coming out. Look at that. Nice healthy plant there. Just thought I'd show you. Isn't this often the case that when we get our first plants, we lose some, and then we find out that some others are actually hardy in the area that we grow them. Okay, next one might surprise you because it is absolutely easy to grow. Very common here in Japan. A lot of people grow this in shallow pots up on their stone walls. And this is Mammillaria prolifera. And it has flower buds right here. This is native to Mexico. And I even think it is native to a lot of offshore islands off the coast there of Mexico too, in the east. This particular plant is forming a mat, although if you were to take off a lot of the pups, the plant can grow approximately this size. So it's got a long way to go yet. This is one of my favorite plants, and it's very easy to grow, very common, Mammillaria prolifera. Put this back. If you live in an arid region, you must put your cacti back in exactly the same way that you took them out, because they can burn. Okay. Doesn't really sit on the shelf too good. Okay, this next one is dangerous. All right, let me get around here. Okay, got it. I got these pot stands or holders, and I've cut one. I got them free from the nursery so that some of my plants don't fall over. Tephro-cactus. This is a Tephro-cactus articulatus, and it is the one that has the barbed spines on it, or the glochids. And I bought this as a cutting, very, very cheap, and it has grown 3 new stems here. When I had it delivered, it two stems broke off naturally because they're so delicate. And I grew those on, so I've actually got 3 plants now. This is one of my favorite cacti. And surprisingly, it doesn't get any soot, any sooty mold, or any infections or bacteria or fungus. None of that, even in the monsoon season, which is quite amazing considering it comes from such an arid region of northern Argentina. And this is one of my favorite cacti. Put this back. If you want to display your cacti better, I suggest just spending a bit more money and getting nice pots. There's no use keeping your plants in horrible pots once you know that those plants do really well for you. This next one, it's got to be one of my favorites. I've had it for so long. I've had it for over 10 years. And I think it's Mammillaria mystax. And it is in bud or flower, say. It's in flower. I've repotted this once. This. Okay, I went onto a website and they suggest that you can give free information to update their website, and I told them on their website that this and a lot of Mammillarias can put up with high humidity during the summer, and it doesn't really bother it one bit. In actual fact, it puts out a lot of growth, surprisingly. And even one time I remember I had no place to put it, and it actually got a lot of the monsoon rain, and it pushed out 2 new heads almost straight away. So I know that this likes a lot of water during the growing season. And you can see that it's coloring up really nicely because of our high intense sunlight being south facing here. Mammillaria mystax is native to Mexico, and I have propagated this, so I've gotten the fruits off it, and I've cultivated this, sowed the seeds, so I have babies, but it tends to go pretty slow. It's a slow grower, and this is one of my favorites, Mammillaria mystax. If this mic is still working, we'll find out later. Here I am telling you guys that you should put your cacti back in exactly the same way, and I almost made that mistake already. There we go. I think we have time for one more. And I keep showing all of the common things. This is nothing too rare, but I've always liked it. And it's the only monstrose I like. And this is Austrocylindra puntia monstrose form. It's not the one that gets gigantic. It stays around this size. And I've propagated it a few times. I actually have 3 more plants of this. It has a reputation of being a slow grower. But if I was to repot this again, it would put out a whole flush of new growth, so that once it's rooted into its pot, it'll keep the same size. It won't grow any bigger. But if you want it bigger, repot it. So it's It's subulata, that's right. Austrocylindropintia subulata monstros. And this is one of my favorite cacti. Really like it, even though that it doesn't flower. I think it would have to be planted out in the garden. And let me put this back. Also, it puts up with the cold. Every now and then, a stem during the winter, I notice, will flop over. I think that that isn't the cold. I think that that is the dryness. It's very, very, very dry. So me being a knucklehead, I don't know which way it was pointing. Oh, yes, I do, because I remember making a cut on that side. But if you do live in an arid region, you can use a white marker or white paint and just mark your pots. We'll put the label on one side so that you know which way they're facing, because sunburn is a real thing. It does a lot of damage to your poor plants. Okay. All right, I'm going to put these plants away. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope you found that interesting, looking at some of my favorites, but I do have more. And I think that's about it for now. Otherwise, this video will go far too long, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.